Here we go, loop 2. Just hit the pits and now we're getting after. Hey everyone, welcome to Hardcore Enduro, where it's all about getting out, riding the hard stuff. I'm George, the guy behind the bars and the voice behind the mic.
Rev it up for the crowd.
That's right, you gotta rev it up. You gotta be on that throttle, screaming out of the pits. You gotta let all those spectators know that you mean business out here and you're racing. That the 40 miles you just didn't phase you. That you're going just as hard the next 40 miles. But little do they know that you are dying. Loop 2 is the killer. It is brutal. The last 20 miles are just really exhausting. And the way Hare and Hounds work, if you guys aren't familiar with Hare and Hounds, I know a lot of you do the racing and you know what they are, but for anyone looking to try a Hare and Hound out, Loop 1 is a easier 40 miles, and it's very fast paced, a lot more open flat ground. And then Loop 2 can be the same exact distance. It's a whole new track, so they're not overlapping the same course you did before, and then it's a lot more technical on certain areas. It still has a nice fast flow to it. It's nothing like a hard enduro style of race or anything like that, but it does have some little bit of rock sections, a little bit of hill climbs that Loop 1 does not have, which I like. I love the hard stuff, so I always look forward to Loop 2 and seeing what the course designers are going to throw at you. Got a nice little hill climb here. Now I'm running about mid-pack, and a lot of these ups and downs of the hills are kind of chewed up, and they're soft and chunky. The rocks are been loosened up from everyone going through, so it just makes what would be kind of an easier climb just makes it a little bit harder because you got all these loose rocks. But I needed to get hard because that's where I started catching people. On the flat open whoop sections, that's everyone starts passing me. As soon as we get into some rocky technical descents, then I start catching people. Here's a nice good descent. It's real loose, rocky. I turn the engine off when it's real steep and loose. I like to just turn the engine off and just focus on
Good little downhill there.
staying in control of the bike, keeping my balance, avoiding rocks. That's pretty good. Still, that was the camera doesn't show. It had a couple that were coming up here. They're pretty steep. All right, already catching some people. I got yeah, and then Loop 2, you're gonna catch people who are just exhausted. It was getting really hot, and some of these canyons there's like no breeze coming along, so it would get really really hot in there, and I didn't want to stop and stay in the end of the canyons. Like, just get through the canyons so that you can get back into some airflow. But it can really get you, the heat and the exhaustion of just the miles that you put on during the race. So you can see Loop 2 here. It's got a lot of this single track through the rocks here. Got a lot of toe smashers and ankle breakers. This guy let me pass, very nice. It's hard to make passes through here. You gotta be patient, or you gotta pick a hard line and get around someone. So it's nice when someone pulls over and lets you pass, so you don't have to try to kill yourself trying to pass anyone. Now the way I ride, I don't need anyone to pull over for me. Some people are courteous that way. I'll pull over for someone behind me. But if someone wants to compete and just keep racing in front and kind of force me to pass them, I'm cool with that too, because to me it's part of the racing. And when you watch other NASCAR, you watch other people race, they have to plan and have a strategy of how to pass people. So I like having to do that too. To me, it's part of the race. I like it. All right, here's a nice little chunky climb here. Pretty loose. The rocks are pretty loose through here, and there's a little bit hard section up here, and I'm gonna catch some people, and I'm gonna pick a hard line to kind of go left. So that person in front of me is real chunky. The rocks are rolling, and and I can see they're struggling, so I'm just going to cut left here, and that was a good decision. So get around him. Actually got pretty good traction through here. So it's a little bit of a struggle just at the top part here, and I managed to hug a rock there with my tire, do a little rock back, get back going. People just resting up here. I'm telling you that loop 2 gets to you. If you went hard during loop 1, or if you're just if you don't have the conditioning, that loop 2, you hit the wall, and then it is just torture trying to finish. You know, every 5 miles just feels like it just takes forever and ever and ever. So we're in Spangler, and it has this little rocky, mountainous area, and between it they have all these little sandy creek washes, and of course it uses a lot of that to connect. I hate the sandy washes. I'd rather stay on this type of single track here through the rocks. When I get the sandy washes, it is, I don't know, it's just my kryptonite. I just feel so squishy and squirrely through the sand. And give me some rocks. You know, I need rocks and obstacles. That's what I want. I feel more comfortable trying to get over some scary obstacle than I do just riding on flat, sandy creek beds. All right, I got 2 guys up here. Looks like they were off course, and now they're coming back left. The guy in front of me, he gets kicked out by a rock there. Blocks the path, so I gotta go down low. And nice, that wasn't bad there. It's always a gamble though. You don't know what kind of rocks that can just pop out of there. You gotta be cautious when you make those passes off the main line there. You know, a rock or something can pop out and throw you over the bars. So on loop 1, I came in, I was 99th overall and 13th in my class for the senior 40 heavyweights. And then in loop 2, I'm going to make up a lot of ground. I ended up 72 or 72nd, and then 7th in my class. So I was actually doing pretty good in loop 2. Like I said, I like the hard terrain, so the open flat stuff I'm gonna get past, and but when it comes to the harder terrain, that's where I feel like that's where I do my best. That being said, through the rocks, you know, when you start to get fatigued and tired, mistakes can happen, and it's easy to make a mistake on these rocky sections. You know, a rock kicking your tire out, and that's gonna happen. So I'm gonna have my first crash here at the bottom of the hill, and I'm coming off an injury in my tailbone, and I've been worried about falling and how it's going to feel, because I haven't, you know, jumped on the ground or fell, so I don't know how my tailbone's going to take it. I do feel it a little bit when I'm, you know, going through the whoops, but I haven't had the fall yet to really test it. So the crash, I get a little bit to the left, and my front tire just slips on a rock and tucks over, and I go down. Tuck and roll. There's a guy right behind me too. I feel bad, so I fall right in front of him. He asked me if I'm good, give him the thumbs up. And the rock I just stepped over, I hit that on my back left shoulder and kind of bruised my left shoulder right there. But
that rock right there.
But my tailbone was fine, so I was actually, usually when you do a crash, your confidence it goes down a little bit. But because my tailbone didn't hurt, I was like, oh sweet, all right, well I can take a fall now and not have to worry about it. So right here, when I crashed, my steering got off a little bit, so I was smacking against the rock there and trying to straighten it out, and there I got past. I thought I didn't get past through all these hard sections, but I guess I did. That crash, lost a couple places. Now I thought I had my steering straightened out, but it was just still a little off. So there's a nice big flat rock here. Give it a little tap. Bam. That's it. It's like a feather tap, little featherweight tap. Straighten it out. Now I gotta work and catching up those people that passed me. I think it's motivating when you get passed by someone and you want to like get them back. You know, when you get passed when you crash or you pull over to get a drink of water or whatever it is. For me, a lot of times it's changing out the batteries in the GoPro. I'll pull over and have to swap out a battery and 5 people pass me. It's the price to pay for one to video my races, I guess. It's worth it. I love watching other people's rides. I love watching my rides. For me, I don't watch TV. I love watching these videos. Nice rocky chunky rocks through here. I have I think 15 pounds of pressure in my front tire and that did 12 in my rear tire. For the Hare and Hounds, I like to run a little bit higher tire pressures. I run a tubeless system, but the higher tire pressure you can really slam into these rocks, you know, if you're going a high rate of speed without worrying about doing a pinch flat. I know the tubeless not supposed to get pinch flats, but they still do. If you hit a rock hard enough, it'll pinch that sidewall or whatever, and you'll get a flat. All right, gonna make some passes. This person in front of me standing up the whole time, looking good. Look at that, just bobbing and weaving through there. I'm still having the issue right here, like I stall out, of hitting my brake when I stand up. So if I'm sitting and then I go to stand, I haven't moved my foot, you know, I need to put my toe back before I stand because I'm hitting that rear brake and it's causing me to stall out.
Standing the whole time.
Yeah, if I just stand the whole time I wouldn't have that issue, but I'm trying to, I'm out of shape, gotta sit down, conserve some energy, and then stand when I gotta stand to get through the terrain here. Narrow gap through there. I think they hear me coming behind them, so there I make a pass. That was nice, because it would have been hard to try to find an alternate line through here to get around them. So we're coming through the backside here, and we just have this kind of gradual descent through these hills here, and your arms get tired, your triceps start to get burning on the downhills, and man, my triceps. Today, it's been 2 days since the race. My triceps are just, oh my god, so sore.
Forearms.
Yeah, my forearms too. Alright, pretty steep section through here. I don't know how many of the other guys turn off their bikes, but like I said before, I like to turn my bike off and use that clutch as a rear brake. That way I can kind of concentrate on my balance and picking lines, getting around the rocks.
Stay in control, Georgie.
Just trying to stay in control. It's been chewed up, so it's just really slippery through here, really mushy with the loose rocks everywhere. Just taking a little breather. Don't want to make a mistake on the downhill. A downhill fall on the rocks, that would be costly. That would be painful.
More of that conditioning was coming down to my forearms, my triceps.
Well, if you just went faster downhill, you wouldn't be using them as long. You just need to let that bike go. What are you waiting for? Now up here is an arrow, and it's pointing right there. That arrow pointed right. So you go right. There's no right. It goes left. So you get out here. I'm like, where the heck did the trail go? I know the arrow pointed right back there, but I look left, and here it is. So that was, it got flipped around, or who knows, but that rarely happens. someone's playing a joke on me. That's what it is. They're like, all right, how can we really mess with these guys? These guys are exhausted by now. Let's just play a little joke on them. Little mind game. Look at that dip. All right, so we're on the north side of Spangler here, and it cuts across this valley, and all the runoff little washes and little creeks, you're running perpendicular. And several of the races out here, they add this section in, and you got to be careful here because there's a lot of these little dips, little sharp dips, and it just wears you out. More sandy wash sections. There was a bunch of those. They you're cutting across this plane here, and then you'll head up a sandy wash, and then you'll cut across the plane, and then you'll go down. I said sandy wash and keep cutting across. It just wears you out, and then the terrain changes. So over here, it's got this like really volcanic, like I don't know, just sharp, angry looking rocks. And you're like, I do not want to fall in those. And then it has this very fine, just powdery dirt, and you get in the rut of it, and it's just powder. It is so silty. Whereas on the other side, it's a lot sandier. Here you get in this line here on the ribbon line, and just this really fine powder. Luckily, I'm not behind anyone because I know the dust would just be horrible. And with all these little softball-sized rocks, it'd be dangerous. And even without anyone, I high side that turn there, and you don't see it. My back tire went way right. I mean, I was almost totally sideways there. Luckily, saved it because I was standing and didn't get tossed on the bike, but I'm struggling. How many of you guys struggle on that sandy, silty section here on the north side of the course? These dips. Whew. Yeah, I'm talking about these big dips. They'll get you. If you're coming in hot there, you would just smash into the other side. I'd go over the handlebars for sure. That's what I would do. Alright, stay on the line. Getting squirrely, you're going all over the place. It's so soft, everyone's coming up and they're all peeling out, and it just gets so chewed up, and it gets so squirrely and soft with your back. And that's I like the M5B. See, the front guys probably don't need that because the course isn't chewed up yet, but you're running mid-pack, that soft, silty, sandy dirt, the M5B does really good on. Little uphill climb, just little clutch fatigue right here. I'm gonna stall out the bike.
Clutch fatigue.
Which my clutches are very soft pull. I got a Magura hydraulic clutch in there, and I took 2 of the springs out of the basket, and my clutch pull is very nice. Like I would put it up with anyone's clutch pull, and how soft it is. It is nice. I really like it.
Pretty good little section here.
Yeah, you got a little dodgy rock section, dodge the boulders, kick them with your toes. Little peg slapper, that's what those are. Well, you slap your pegs on them. Lift up your boot, and then bing, slaps your peg. I see some dust out there. So there's a person ahead of me. I'm like, there's a human. Actually, you start riding out here, sometimes you haven't seen anyone in a long time, and you're like, is anyone else out here? Am I the last person? I'm catching someone, so that's always, it makes you feel good. It puts a little fire under your belt, it motivates you to keep on going, because you get really fatigued, and you get fatigued, you're like, you know what, I'm just gonna finish the race easy. But then you catching someone. So now I'm like, all right, motivated. All right, we're back to race mode. All right, this guy, he pulls over, lets me pass. Very nice, thank you, sir. Although I'd like to take a breather. Would it be bad etiquette if he pulls over to let me pass, and I just pass him a little bit, 10 feet, and then I pull over and take a break too? He'd be like, well, if I knew you were gonna stop, I would have just kept on going. Yeah, when you pass someone, you can't stop. You got to keep going, like you earned it. Got a little squirrely there, a little soft climbs. You know, you're fatigued. Very loose. Yeah, you got to be on the gas a little bit more. Next time, Georgia, be on the gas. See those rocks? It's like angry volcanic rocks, man. I would not want to fall in there. It's like cheese grater rocks. They would chew you up. Chewing up the tires, that's for sure. Come out here. It's funny what you'll find in the desert. Like it's just crazy. There's a truck out here, and it's just the cab, just the front of it. Like, how does it get out here? There's no road or anything. It's no frame. It's just the front cab of the truck. So someone stole a truck or whatever, and there's like, let's drive it out here and dump it. It wasn't even, I understand for like shooting it up or something, but no bullet holes or anything. It's just an abandoned cab of the truck.
That's some nasty looking rocks. I did cut you up pretty good.
So coming up, we have a fun little canyon section that has one little sharp turn. I watched a couple other guys' videos, and they had a little bit of a bottleneck going through there, and I get through. It's pretty cool. This little canyon section gets real tight. It's got a couple little step up rocks to go through.
Nice little canyon section.
That's what I like about Loop 2. You don't get this for the guys that just do Loop 1. They miss out on all this fun stuff. Try to do a little wall ride here. Kind of kicks me to the right. Yeah, it worked out. I saved it. Alright, so coming up, there's this kind of a bottleneck area that I saw in some other videos. And there's two guys there, and I think they're there to help people out. And I didn't know if they were, so I'm asking them if they're all good, if I can go through. And they're like, yeah, go on ahead. So I'll get through here, and I'll do this epic pivot turn coming up. Watch this pivot turn coming right here. Yeah. Finally, I do a pivot turn when it mattered, when it counts. I practice pivot turns all the time, and doing it on the trail during the race when it actually matters is a whole nother ball game. It's much harder than, especially in front of a crowd. When I had some people watching me, so I was under pressure. I had to land it. So I was proud of myself. That was a good one. You actually did something good. So this guy ahead of me, he's been going back and forth. We've been passing each other. He passes me, then I pass him, then he passes me. We've done that several times. And there's towards the end of the race here, I got it off video, or I didn't have it on video because I lost my batteries in Loop 1 because I didn't zip my bag. Anyways, I didn't get on film, but there's a pretty good rock climb towards the end of the race, probably the last 10 miles before finish line, something like that. And anyways, he was stuck about halfway through, blocking the trail, and I said, I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna make the pass. I'm gonna pass him hard enduro style. If you ever see hard enduro, those guys, the amateur guys, and the pros too, like, they have no mercy passing. They pass you, they'll run over your leg, they'll slam into your bike. it's like playing bumper cars out there, getting around, passing people. It's just, I love it. To me, it's hilarious. It's just chaos, and I love it. So, anyways, I make the hard pass around the guy on the hill, and as soon as I pass, I dump the bike right in front of him. I felt bad. But got around him, and it just happens like that sometimes. So sorry, buddy. Didn't mean to make your struggle even harder. I felt bad because I made his struggle through the hill just a little bit harder. Nice little tight canyon creek through here. That was pretty rocky. There he is. So I'm going to make the pass on him, and then he'll pass me back. He's passing all the flat stuff. He'll pass me in any of the flatter terrain, and then when it gets hard again, then I get him back. Coming up here is a little drop off, and this is another part where my boot hits the brake and stalls out the bike. Luckily, I was able to pull in that clutch quick enough and prevent it from, stalling, and pop the clutch and got it back going again. All right, another checkpoint. These guys are fast. I was thinking about pulling over and stopping, taking a break here, which I would love to just take like a 2-minute break right now. But those guys are swiping you fast, and when you see them put in the effort to get you through quickly, it makes me want to just keep on going. If they were dilly-dallying, taking their time. So there he is. He passed me back. Puts a whole bunch of rocks in my face. Well done. Well done, sir. Get rocks in the face. So this guy ahead of me here, he's got a channel, and it's Z Sends It, so you can go watch his video, and he was hurting pretty bad this loop too. Yeah, I was hurting too, so my hands are crapped up right now, and I can't open my hands off the grips. They're just stuck on there. I can't even open my fingers. And then my thighs were starting to cramp up. But Zach here, he was hurting pretty bad. Had a good race. His first loop, though, I saw his time. He did really well his first loop. He's running a new beta. And the beta is supposed to have really soft suspension. So I've always wanted to try one out and just compare it to what I'm riding. He lets me have the pass. Thank you. So check him out. Z Sends It. He's got a bunch of videos that he does and posts up on YouTube. We probably got about, 15 miles left to go, and you're starting to get that I gotta get back. The race is starting to get real difficult. The fatigue is just, it's weighing you down. And that's what's going to happen. So there's this hill climb right up here. I got to get to the top of this hill, and I'm getting sloppy at this point in my riding. I'm not picking the best lines I should be, and I'm going to dart right into this rock. So you'll see it coming up. It's just this dark, shadowy rock right there, right in the middle of the trail. Dart right into it. Easily could have just went left a couple inches, went right a couple inches, missed it. Nope. Had to dart right into it. All right, that was the last fall of the ride here, and I didn't hurt my tailbone, so I was happy of this race. That the first crash I did, I was worried, or I knew I'm gonna fall sooner or later. And when you race, everyone I think lays their bike down sooner or later. And I was just kind of worried about my tailbone and and having 2 falls in there, and having to deadlift the bike up, my tailbone is fine. So I was happy about this race. I was looking down. My front tire has a slow leak, and it's not from this race. Every time I ride, I fill up the tire, so it's probably down. I started with 15 psi, and it's probably down to about 10 psi now. So I can feel the difference on how it's steering. There's just a lot of sharp rocks through the back half of this loop too, and just starting to feel it a lot through the handlebars of the bike. So maybe it's time to get a new front tire. The slow leak just not doing me any favors at the moment. Need to get a new tire on there. Alright folks, that's going to do it for me on this one. It's been a blast getting back into racing. I love it. I love the excitement of the race itself and how you feel. It's been almost 2 months since I've been on the bike, so I was just happy overall with my performance and how I felt on the bike. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I can't wait to be putting up the next one. Till then, get out, ride, and get some. Ew!